What's up? What's up? What's up? Just if you're in the house. So basically, those names are out there, and those people who know it, and they might be doing this mission. You might have a lot of people praying to this symbol, and a lot of people out there call themselves niggas and stuff, or however it is pronounced, just ng. Because back in the days, they said that they didn't have vowels and stuff like that. So I'm saying that you got people out there probably praying to those gods, which were our gods first, gods of black skin, melanin filled people, and they come along and they're probably doing it, and because they're doing it, they're benefiting off of whatever the results of doing those things are, and we don't know what they are. I mean, you really don't know. But I do know one thing, is that you can start controlling what's going on in life, and it's going to take a lot. But you just sit in the house and you just say, okay, fine, I want to learn about the periodical chart, and you got dictionaries online that got that'll pronounce the word for you. I mean, everything. You can stay at home and study, and then if you got a group of guys who are same guys you're always hanging around, then hey, stay home and study. And one guy like, oh man, I don't want to study. Then you're like, well, do you want to make money? Do you want to meet a lot of girls? Do you want to drive fancy cars? Do you want to create nuclear plants and nuclear bombs and fly to the moon and fly to the other side of the universe in 15 seconds and stuff? The ability to do that stuff is there, but and I really believe it. I really do believe it. And whether or not I believe it or not, it doesn't even matter, because the only way you're gonna find out if you can't do it is if you don't try. And if you don't do it, that's only because you don't understand, or haven't found the materials and stuff to do those things. But as you travel out in space, there's other stuff out there that will help you get those things. So all I'm just saying is that sorry about that. Is that don't let your friends discourage you. Please don't let them discourage you. And you always try to encourage them to do better. And when I was in Venice, I did the same thing, hanging out with my friends, and the people, they're gonna make their own choices, like I said. It's cool because you're gonna live, and unless you actually do something that's gonna cut your respiratory system short, then you'll come around, And even like I made these videos like over 40 stuff, just in case you're watching this with your parents. Once you get my age, there's really is no excuse, to get out there and do things and meet people and stuff. And when you meet other adults, like I walked down the street the other day, and I saw this brother from Indonesia, and one of my friends, Blue Eye Guy One. He was telling me in Indonesia, the people you see on TV don't represent the majority. He said they are black skin, big lips, flat, wide nose people everywhere, but they're not the ones that's on TV, because they're not the ones that that they use to create this glamour and this emotional effect on people to go out and buy things. But he said you go over there, oh my God, he said, oh man, it's a trip. When I went to traveling the villages in what's that place called? The villages in what's that place called? Thailand. I saw it. And the people were real cool, real nice. And I said this in one of my other videos, but this one lady, she saw me, old lady in one of the villages, and she saw me. The lady just walked right over to me, past all the white people, everyone else, walked right over to me, and then grabbed my face, and then said something, and she was just rubbing my face, and I was like, wow. And then she gave me a souvenir, and I was gonna pay for it, but she said no, and I got and it was a real nice souvenir too. And got back on the what you call it? Back on the van, and everybody was like, wow, why did she do that to you? And why did she do this and that? And there's a reason. There's a lot of things that those people know that we don't know. And I don't know, you guys, all I'm just saying is stay in the house and study. Okay? Because when you go out in the street, all you're doing is making a way for these people to come up, accuse you of doing something, and You get locked up in this position, in this system where they're making $45,000 off of you every month because you're in jail. You know what I'm saying? And that is just totally ridiculous. And then they paying all this money to keep you in jail for what? You know, what is actually going on in there? You know what I'm saying? And a question that they can't, I don't know. It's just this trip. What are they doing? You know, what's the future going to be like? But it's just something we just gotta all deal with, and hopefully you'll be smart and be able to dodge a lot of this stuff, that's going on and stuff. You'll be able to dodge a lot of this stuff that's going on. And first you might say, well, where do I study? Well, there's this site called Khan University. It starts off with step one. It explains everything to a T. He don't use all these fancy words. Well, I haven't really heard it, but if you do, then you go back, and if you got, you look at it, you find out what these words mean. But you can look at it, pretty much understand things. And like I said in one of my other videos, you got these symbols and stuff like that, and all these symbols, they have a meaning behind them, and you need to know what the meaning is. You don't need to know the words or anything, but when you see a 2 above a number, that means to multiply the number 2 times and stuff like that. Or if you see a number with that 1/2 with a fraction sign, 1/2 fraction sign, then that means to square it and stuff like that. And it's really made so easy. Oh my God, it's just really incredible how simple this stuff is, but you just got to get those systems down and understand what's going on, and it's going to take time. But I figure you got about 50, 60 years at least, unless you get unless you go to jail, you're going to be in there for a long time, 15, 20 years, whatever, instead of having to deal with all that stuff in there, then you can just deal with the studying and stuff at home. I told my son, today he didn't want to study. I'm like, well, what do you got? He said, Mommy, she goes to work, and after work she studies. What do you got to do? He just said study and play. I said, is that difficult? He said, no. And I said, well, then go study. And when you study, it's a beautiful thing. You know why? Because you were born to learn. You were born to advance, and that's what you were supposed to do. So they got these questions, well, we'll be here on earth for. You're here to understand the earth, to master the earth, to master yourself, to master everything, to master the universe. And you ain't gonna master it if you can't get off the planet, and you can't master it if you can't get out in space. And they got, they end up making these telescopes, but those telescopes, they had those in Africa and down south already, these observatory places way before that. Anyway, but you guys got to read, or look on YouTube and stuff like that, or look up documentaries and things like that. But the whole thing though is a lot of guys probably want to change, but you don't know how. So my videos are aimed at not talking about the problem, but talking about what steps you can actually do. So if you're watching this, then you think about a subject that you really want to do. I would start with math. That means I would turn this off when finished. Click search Khan Academy. Khan Academy. KHAN space Academy. ACADEMY. Click on that. Start with addition. Whether you already know it or not, just start with addition and see what he does. And it's really interesting. And the whole thing about starting with addition is not so much because you need to learn it, but you can learn really easy steps to help the little kids in the streets, because the little kids are out there in the streets, they're looking up to you, whether you believe it or not, and they want to be like you because you're the only example they have. So if you get out there and you walking down the street and you see some kids, your friends, neighbors' kids, sitting up and say, hey, you guys know how to do that? Well, hey, let's study. I'm like, huh? Like, yeah, study. Well, what do you want to be? I don't want to be this. Well, you ain't gonna be it, if you don't study. And then clean up the vocabulary. You ain't gonna be it. And stuff like that. You can't, as you start learning the vocabulary, use it. Because in one of my other videos, people like, well, white people use this language. It's not that. It's their parents use the languages that at their professions. They use that same vocabulary at home. because the kids don't know it, but the kids do know the street language. But they're also learning the jargon, which it calls just a proper word for slang or uppity word for slang and stuff like that. And they're using those words at home, so the kids are using it with each other in school and stuff. So when they go to school, they don't have any problems with the vocabulary because they've been drilled, forever with these words, at home, you know. So, and that's what it is. So you think, well, there's a big gap between the black kids in school and white kids. No, there is a big gap, and the gap is not because of what they're not teaching you in school. The gap is because what your parents are not teaching you at home. And they don't have to sit down and say, well, think of a word. Employ means to put something to use for your benefit, basically, And they don't have to, instead of using those words, I'm like, well, I'm going to work, well, I'm going to my employment, I'm going to do something, I'm employed at this place, or, and I mean, there's a whole bunch, and they need to use these words at home. And if they start using these words at home, and they start using these words at home, you're going to pick them up real fast, and you go to school, and you can outperform, those kids too, Everyone can outperform anyone, but I really believe that, because they got studies and stuff on how black kids and stuff can learn early and real smart, learn things real fast and stuff like that. So you'll be able to catch up easily if the parents or you guys just start using the same vocabulary. And you guys need to create a new black image, a new black culture, because the culture that you're being taught is dysfunctional, okay? It's not working. It is not working. So you guys need to do it. So basically, I'll see if I can say this in 3 minutes. Stop having sex before you're 22, before you get your degree. The reason I'm saying that is because you're creating other kids, and you create them with other women, and if you're not mature enough to handle the finances, the responsibilities, the arguments, the jealousies and things like that, if you're too emotional, then this kid's going to grow up, and this kid's going to pretty much, from the time it's born, it's going to have to survive on its own, and it's only going to survive by mimicking other things or aping other things. Ape is a verb also. Aping things that they see, And I was told that by guy Coco watches videos too, and Akenchans videos, also Akenchans films, and they talk about some good things about what's going on in Japan and stuff. But what I'm saying is, it's up to you, okay? And let's say if you do stop having sex till you were 22, then sure, we'll have 22 years of you might not have your kids, but you got other kids that start off at 22, 23, and then hopefully, I want to talk about relationships and stuff, and they'll be able to find a woman who will able to expand what she want to do. He'll be able to expand and be able to take care of the kids at the same time, or if they need help, how to find other people who are responsible to take care of their children and things like that. Because you got some people who can't teach that well, some people who can teach that well, some people who love kids, some people who can't. So there's ways to do this stuff and things like that. But you can do it, okay? So what do? Go to Ken Khan's Academy right now and start watching his videos. Talk about math, chemistry, biology, history, and it's most of it probably white histories too, but you still need to know this stuff. Then you find black history books and those black videos, and you start watching those. It's this book called From Babylon to Timbuktu, and it talks about the black Jews who were ran out of Palestine, Israel, Palestine, and all that stuff, Canaan and stuff, into Africa, because of the wars from the Europeans and stuff, and that Jewish history they took to Africa, so that's why they over there in Africa trying to get that history and seeing what those guys are doing. But this is gonna be the last video, but please just do those, and let me know how you change, because I know you will. I'm out.